Gunline. Fire mission coming down, y'all. I'm your host, Lopez, and you're listening to the On the Gunline podcast where we shoot the shit like we did in the past. So go on, Papa Squat. We're about to get hot. You on the Gunline now, baby. And as you can see, I got good old Lee Hunt here with us. And if you're looking at the screen and it's not Urena, it looks kind of Asian, maybe Filipino-ish, but it's not Filipino. We have old Monica here again. And so this is Monica's first day as an official, what am I saying, a guest co-host. So welcome.
Thank you.
We're trying you out. See if you fit in with the crew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it won't be too weird for y'all.
Nah, not at all. You ain't heard us yet. Get into crosstalk, start talking about motherfucking Mandela effects and shit.
Oh, so many.
Oh, dude, it's gonna get hot. But yeah, dude. For those of y'all that are your first time listening here to us, check this out. The reason it's called On the Gun Line is because out in the field artillery, where the cannons are lined up, that's the gun line. When we're done shooting missions, motherfuckers come to the gun line and just shoot the shit and have conversations. Anything from Jody running up on some E5's wife to, mental health issues to whatever. But you know what? Oh, politics, especially politics. And, MAGA and Biden and all that good shit. But anyways, that's what we talk about here. Everything and anything. Just bear with us and we'll take your mind off of what's going on in the real world. So with that being said, welcome Hunt, welcome Monica. How y'all doing today?
Good, doing good.
How about you, Hunt?
It's a beautiful day, man. I'm hoping to get rich soon.
Damn. Well, speaking of shit, Sheena Ibu, Shiba Inu, Shiba. I bought some Shiba Inu, baby.
Nice.
I bought more after I sent you that screenshot.
What the fuck? You know what Shiba Inu is, Monica?
Yeah, cryptocurrency, absolutely.
Oh, what you think about cryptocurrency?
If I don't think about the underlying and how it really came about and why they first used it, and I think it's actually awesome.
As far as being decentralized?
I want to dig a little deeper into that.
The fact that it's decentralized is great, but you've heard of what they said about how Bitcoin first got started, how you could only use it on the dark web, and the kind of shit they sell on the dark web. But
oh no, I don't.
Dude, they were like Silk Road. They were like buying fucking hitman. They were getting drugs, fucking all type of shit.
Dude, you could do that shit on the streets.
First got started and got really big, and eventually took it mainstream. Obviously.
Hell yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah, I did the Doge thing. I wish I wouldn't have sold it when I first bought it, and then I got the fucking FOMO. And I didn't say homo, y'all. I said FOMO. Don't cancel me.
Oh my god, let me start this fucking what's called over again.
What happened?
The TikTok live.
Oh
no, I'm playing.
Okay. Yeah, we've been canceled already once. So, but nah, dude. I ended up fucking getting the Doge again, but I sold it off again because I got tired of waiting that shit. But this time I'm getting in on that fucking Shiba, whatever the fuck it is, at the ground.
The other
dog. Look, I only bought $10. Apparently that's fucking 137,000 or some shit like that. I'm good.
Bro, I bought $6.
What? $6?
No, 600.
Neighbor, you crazy.
I'm dead ass. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We just talked about this. Hey, could be good, could be bad.
So I first bought Dogecoin whenever it was last year, like January, and that shit was 2 cents a share, a coin or share, whatever you want to call it, a coin. I remember buying $50, and then I just kept adding on to it. And when it first spiked, I sold it. Obviously, made some profit. I got my profits back, and I still got some sitting there. I'm not gonna give up on it yet. I'm gonna, everybody thought, like I said, Bitcoin was a joke, and there we are now. What are they, 56,000 per Bitcoin or something? But And then I bought some Soul because I made an NFT collection. So that was a lot of fun.
I was checking that. So NFTs. I follow the wise words of South Park when it comes to NFTs. So, which is that they're bullshit. But I mean, for those of y'all that don't know what NFTs are, could somebody, one of you two, please explain what the shit is?
NFT, depending on what blockchain you use, whether it's Ethereum, which is another cryptocurrency with
Wait, say that again.
Blockchain. So they're based on blockchain.
What was it called?
A blockchain. Ethereum is one of the.
Ethereum?
Yeah, that's
Ethereum?
All this time I've been saying this shit wrong.
Ethereum, or what is it? What?
I thought it was Ethereum.
Ethereum. Okay, maybe that. I don't know. I don't have it. That shit's too expensive for my blood. I ended up going with blockchain Solana. So I'm on SolSea, and that's where I made my. So pretty much people just kind of like now they're not as rare, but you make a collection of art or whatever the fuck you want to make it out of. Really, it doesn't really matter what picture or video or whatever. People start doing nudes and stuff like that on there that you could buy because they're one of a kind and only that person's going to own it. So it's, I think Paris Hilton has a collection and
of non-nudes.
No, they have nudes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nude. They make everything into an NFT nowadays. But yeah, I just decided to make it just to say I did.
So you saying,
bro? I'll start an OnlyFans for myself first before I go.
There you go. That'd probably be a lot easier doing an OnlyFans than fucking NFTs.
Facts. Taking this back to the military shit. When I first was a private in basic training, they talked to us about the TSP, the thrift savings plan or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And I really wish I would have done that, because motherfuckers be coming out banking. But me, I didn't know shit. I didn't even know what the fuck TSP was. I didn't even know what a 401k was. None of that bullshit. So like a dumbass, I just spent my money on alcohol because I'm a fucking alcoholic. FA, it's what we did in the Army. How'd y'all do it in the Navy? Same thing?
Mostly, yeah, but I had a TSP, and then it's just sitting out there lingering. We'll see whatever I do to it. I think I have because obviously me and my mom would talk about it and would be like, I don't have anything to give you guys when I die. I'm like, good, that means no motherfuckers are gonna fight over anything. That's great.
So
we know how that can get sometimes. We've heard, but
yes, ma'am.
I was like, sure, I'll do a retirement. Why not? Whatever.
So me and Hunt, sometimes have discussions on here regarding, we call it the crosstalk. All right. So let me give you a little bit of an idea where that came from. So one of my original co-hosts, his name was Cruz. All right. He was one of our good friends, and he ended up dying back in 2020.
Yeah.
So he ended up dying in 2020. And anyways, he had just transitioned to becoming my co-host permanently. And we were talking about not just doing military talk, but also talking about like conspiracy theories, fucking paranormal shit, stuff like that, right? So unfortunately, we never got to do it because he died, right? Or I'll say it more politically, he passed away. So
what cracks me up, not to get into your story, when they say unalived. He's dead. They're dead. Yeah. I mean, not to be unpathetic, but I'm like, unalived. Come on.
Yeah. So no, he died, and it was sudden and out of nowhere, unexpected. But in order to keep his memory alive, I decided to make a segment called Crosstalk, because Cruise in English is cross. And, it's kind of like a play in the word of crosstalk, right? So I think we're going to go ahead and lead off with some crosstalk today. How you feel about that, Hunt?
I'm good. Just let me know whenever if we're gonna do this when we'll start putting it on the.
Oh no, we ain't doing the tickety talks yet. So okay. Monica, if you don't mind, if I could pick your head a little bit, because you tend to, just from what I've stalked on your socials, maybe be a little more educated on this than I am. But okay, there's good and there's evil, right? Positive and negative vibes, right?
I would say high and low vibes. From what I have learned from different, people have done research, like Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon's an amazing she did a lot of amazing work with like hypnotherapy and being able to hit, get you to sleep to where the deepest sleep you could possibly go, where your subconscious would come through, meaning your higher self, or, possibly other beings through your higher self that are for your highest good, not like bad, but they're saying, and this could get a little wishy-washy with some people, it's like there is no good, there is no bad, there just is, but there is high frequency, low frequency. And the reason why, the way that we think of good and bad is, evil and good, obviously, but when you go back to source, you don't go to hell if you were evil per se. You just go to a resting place where you can think about, because all that pain that you caused and suffering comes back to you full fold, and you just kind of go to like this resting place where you kind of obviously rest and think about all the bad shit that you did on earth. But when you get up there, it's not bad. It's just for you to contemplate and hopefully learn from your shit and not do it again.
let me ask, I mean, now, I don't know your religious background or anything like that, or if you're religious, spiritual, whatever they say it is. But like, if I'm stepping out of line, let me know too. Just want to know this, like, what is your belief as far as like when somebody dies? What happens? Like,
you go back to source. I think you go to a better place. Like,
what is source?
Source, you could call it source, you could call it the universe, you could call it God. We all come from, I believe, and when I say believe, I'm not religious. I was born and baptized Catholic, and I'm not religious. Like, I am not. Right. To me, religion is, organized religion. You go whatever. I am spiritual. Everybody has their own individual spiritual journey. So, it's not the same for everybody. Everybody's going to have their own individual journey to go through and whatever lessons they want to learn. But when you die, it's just your body, obviously, and then your soul goes back to source. Your soul goes back to God, the universe, source. We all come from one giant big ball of energy, source, God, whatever you want to call it. That's why when somebody says you can tap into the collective, it's because we all come from that same ball of energy, if you will.
So my question to that is, spirits, ghosts, paranormal activity, is that something that in your opinion, is it something that we just make up in the figment of our own imaginations, or is it something that's really out there, that's real, that's a negative force?
No, I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. When I think of it, it's depending on your frequencies and your vibrations, on whether it's something that's low vibrating, which, it's what you would consider something evil, or, just low vibe that's like, oh, it doesn't feel so good, versus high vibe. And the best way to describe it is different densities or different dimensions. It's not that they're not there, you're just not on that frequency. So when you think of let's say a car, or you see it going fast, you could see it, right, at a certain speed. But if it keeps getting faster, you'll see it barely, and then it keeps getting faster and faster and faster, like the speed of light or more than that. Then you're not going to be able to see it, but it doesn't mean it's not there. It's just at a different speed / different frequency. Does that make sense?
I think this is above my head. You got any questions
there,
on this one?
But it's not there because you're not vibing on that frequency. So now when you start getting into those higher frequencies and consciously, that's when you start feeling, those other energies, when they're, whether it be angels or spirits or galactic beings, whatever you want to call it, because they're always in higher, not always, but the ones that you always want to connect to anyway. The ones I like to connect to are higher frequency versus the lower frequency ones. Those could come up and fuck with you, obviously, if you don't have some kind of energetic protection, but they're there. You just can't see them because you're not vibing on that same frequency yet.
What? Anything yet? I like turtles, but nah. Like I think what I know you saw like source, but it's also been referred to as conscious, right? So you're gonna return to that conscious, right? Is that a cat I'm hearing in the background?
Yes.
Oh, that's so cute, Lopez. I didn't know you had a cat. It's very, very manly of you. I thought you were a dog person, but you're a cat person. I see now. Yes. Vibrations. I do believe in the vibrations. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of buzzed right now too. I'm gonna get it together in a second.
All right. So story. All right. I have a story, and I mean, I don't know if maybe you can decipher something out of this, because you're like the most, I want to say open-minded, but at the same time, somebody I want to get stuff from. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't think we meet here out of coincidences. You know what I'm saying? So I've been wanting to tell you this story since last week when we talked. All right. So check it. I was about 5 years old. All right. And 4 or 5. And I had just woken up. We were all asleep in the room. This is a 2-bedroom house back in LA. And I got up. I was not afraid of the dark at that age or anything. I get up
At that age.
the door. I cross the hallway into the bathroom, turn the light switch on. I unzip my onesie. I do my little pee-pee. I zip up my onesie, put the little button, and I start, sliding back across the hall. I turn the light off, flush the toilet, obviously, go back across the hall, and I close the door behind me, all dark. Now, mind you, there's a set of bunk beds, and then there's the bed that I slept on with my brother. Okay. Typical fucking, Beaner family. Anyways, as I close the door.
10 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So as I close the door, behind me, and I turn around, I see a guy, like the silhouette, like an outline, sitting Indian style, or I'm sorry, crisscross applesauce, I guess they call it now. So sitting Indian style.
Indigenous style.
Native style, whatever you want to call this bullshit. So he's sitting there, right? And he has some eyes that are like chino eyes. You know what I'm saying? And they're fucking glowing red. And he's telling me in Spanish, like, ven, Danny, ven para acá. Tengo algo para ti. For my non-Spanish friends, it's Danny, come here. I got something for you. Let me show you something. And I'm like looking at him, and I'm walking close. I'm like, Dad, is that you? And he's like, come here, like literally telling me like this. And that point, I got scared, right? And again, it's fucking dark in there. I see this outline. I can see the outline of it, right? And the glowing red eyes, I will never forget. I turn around real fast to turn the light on, and I turn it on. Nothing's there. Nothing is fucking there. All right.
Ghost penis.
Bro.
He had ghost penis for you.
Dude.
He was about to get molested by a ghost.
Right? Nah. So I looked onto the fucking bed, and everybody that was supposed to be on the beds are asleep, bro. From that day forward to this date, I'm 44 years old now. I will not walk into any room with the lights off. Ever. I swear to you. So, that shit freaked me the fuck out. But peep game, a couple of years ago when I was stationed at Fort Stewart, I tell this very same story to my gunnery sergeant, my gunny. And he's looking at me like I'm half retarded because he saw the exact same fucking thing.
Wow.
So, is that like something negative upon me, or like, I mean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it could be a spirit guide. It could be a negative entity or like a low vibrate entity. It just kind of really depends on how it felt to you. If it made you feel scared and creeped out, not just obviously when you're a kid, it felt scary and creeped out because you don't know what the hell it is. It's definitely some other being, not of this earth anymore. But it really would depend on it. Just because it had red eyes doesn't mean they're bad.
Okay.
So it really would just depend. Now that you're like an adult and you can handle, like if you feel like you want to handle this kind of thing, not that you want to call it back, but you can ask your higher self. You can ask yourself whether this thing was supposed to be a guide, if this thing was supposed to was trying not as good, like for your highest good type of thing. So it really would depend on what it was supposed to be for you, really. Like it could have been something good for someone else and not good for you type of thing, you know what I mean? And the fact that
I think that motherfucker was trying to
ghost penis.
I ain't about that life.
I told you about what happened in Baghdad, right? When Chooks and them went on leave.
What's that?
How because me and Chooks were roommates, right?
Right.
So they're on leave.
Chooks, just so you know, is one of our our buddies that was in the same platoon back in the day.
So
We
like
call them
Chooks is on leave, right? And me and Chooks share rooms. Like my bed is like this, and then up against the other side of the room, Chooks' bed is like that, right? And so it's like one night, man, I just so happened to wake up and I'm like roll over and I like looking at Chooks' bed, and there's this thing laying on his bed, and it's just like, oh shit, it's just laying on the bed and it has like his hand on his head. Like you talking about like scared, man. Like it like, dude, I literally slept with my TV on the rest of the time till Chooks got back. Fuck that shit, because I had the little DVD player in that bitch too, so it was like, fuck it, it's gonna be on for the rest of the night.
Do we end up like causing these? Does our own negativity cause these negative, kind of like poltergeist type shit? How your own negativity can cause those things? Is that something like if we're having like down times, negative vibes that we're sending out, can that bring in negativity to your life?
Yeah,
yeah, definitely could, to keep you down. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
It's really up to you. When I say it's really up to you, and you have the absolute power to like get rid of any negativity, any kind of anything. Like for example, I just had I want to say psychically or spiritually attacked like probably 4 weeks ago or something to that effect. Usually, my house is a fortress. Like I make sure my shit is protected, but obviously once you start getting ascending and again, light attracts dark, so sometimes shit creeps in. And I was in that sweet spot to kind of where you can almost astral project, but you're not like asleep completely, but you're half asleep. And literally, all I could hear, like I'm like, I think there's somebody here. I was like talking to my husband, like, babe, did you lock the doors? I heard somebody come in, and obviously I wasn't talking. It was just like I could hear him get up, and then I hear a scuffle, and then all I heard was. And it was a really creepy voice saying, yes, yes, yes. And that's when I wake up and I was like, holy shit. And I knew exactly what happened or what it was, because obviously my husband was asleep. I was laying there, nobody was in the room, no scuffle, no nothing. And as soon as I go back to lay down and fall asleep, I can literally hear my higher self say, oh, fuck no. She was pissed. Like she was so mad that something was even evil, like able to creep in like that. And, I'm a pretty high vibe bitch. Like I don't get scared. It kind of like, it didn't freak me out. It didn't scare me. I was like more mad. And like, I just laughed because I could hear her and feel her be pissed that this little whatever it was creeped in like that. And she was like, oh, fuck no. And I can just kind of feel the shit in the background working out to like, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? So it's really, you don't even have to be in a negative place for something to try to come after you like that. But you just gotta, that's why I always, like I said, I'm a super Nazi when it comes to like protection and energy protected and aura protection and that kind of thing.
So let me ask you, can you explain to me, what do you mean by your higher self? Like, are there different selves of us that kind of like are, okay, so I've heard the phrase of, there's the 3 U's, the one who you think you are, the one other people think you are, and then who you really are. But obviously that's different than what we're talking about. Is that in a way that what you're speaking though? Like, are we like 3 different matters or like, go ahead, Hunt.
No, you're talking about your spiritual self, right? Like the being outside of this fleshy body. That's what she's talking about. We have 10 though.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. I just saw it pull up. So, so what do you mean you can hear your higher self though? Because I mean, to me, if listening to that, it's kind of confusing. You know what I mean?
So like you said, it's your spiritual self, it's your soul, it's your aura, it's your essence, it's the old soul, your soul that's been reincarnated so many dang times that holds all your inner knowledge that you can tap into. So that's your higher self. Obviously, like who I am now compared to a year ago, I am my highest self than who I was a year ago. So you're kind of right, like it's both. And now I am easier tapping into my higher self because I have been doing the work, meditating, conscious awareness, or getting better consciousness. So it's like in the physical, who you are now, you're probably your higher self than who you were a year ago, or even 5 years ago, or 2 years ago. And then consciously as well, it's getting closer to your spiritual self. Your spiritual self, your soul.
Right. You got something, Hunt?
Yeah. I don't know if I may have told you the story in private before, right? Remember, because I told you that I had to go seek help from somebody because somebody's evil as hell,
Yes.
and I was like, I finally. That was the second person I told this to about like how I know for a fact that I've seen some shit that I shouldn't have seen, and I remember this clearly, like the pyramids, like
Ooh,
what
I
is
just
it,
had goosebumps.
Revolutionary
That's
War,
in past life. Good job.
like not the Revolutionary, the Civil War. Like I'm explaining this to her, and I was like, I don't really understand it. I was like, I know before I left my mother, like I seen these things, and she was like, so you've been here before. I was like, okay, well, yeah, that kind of makes sense because like I shouldn't. I remember I told my mother, like, and this was when I was in my 30s, and I told her that, and I was like, Mom, I got something to tell you. I was like, this is gonna sound crazy, but like I've been holding this in forever. She was like, you really don't sound crazy, but I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's not crazy. We all have, I mean, there's very, very few souls on this earth that don't have past lives. Like we all have been, most of us, I should say, most of us have been reincarnated. I've had a Viking life. I've had a mermaid life on a different planet. I've had a different life in a Sirius. So like there's other planets, with other beings. Sirius A, Sirius B. Sirius B is like more water planet. That's why I was a mermaid. Sirius A is more like a city type of planet. And I was still a Sirian, which is a type of galactic being, but I was on that planet. And like I said, I was a Viking before, and there's only certain past lives that I've been able to see and remember. There's been 2 other past lives that I've seen glimpses of, but I can't really tell what periods they were from. So we all have most of us, I wouldn't say all, most of us have past lives, multiple past lives.
So how do you again completely just talk to me like I'm a fucking kindergartner? I'm a 13 Bravo, which is a field artilleryman. So I pretty much am a fucking kindergartner. All right. So with that said, how is there a way someone can identify how many past lives they've had, how many times they've reincarnated? I mean, does that lead to deja vu? So
deja vu is totally true. Either it's something that's happened in this lifetime or a past lifetime, or you remembering somebody from a different past life, like your soul recognizes them. So you're like, I know you from somewhere. You know what I mean?
I've heard that the deja vu is like, if you think about the multiverse, right? Like when we have deja vu, when we experience it, like it's happening, we're actually able to tap in to our doppelganger on the next universe, and we're able to see them in real time and be like, hold up, man, I know this before. Like I've seen this shit. It's because
I only know Rick and Morty multiverse.
It's like timelines. So have you ever seen Loki? And then they talk about timelines. So there's multiples of yourself and there's different times. So people think of time as like linear, and it's definitely like parallel. But it's deja vu. It's like when you cross over into those timelines and you remember that shit, like, you're like, oh, this already happened, but you had just tapped into the other timeline or universe, or you know what I mean?
See, this is the type of stuff that fascinates the fuck out of me. And it really does. Like, cause I've been trying to have these conversations during our crosstalks, but I just don't have the way to articulate it, and I don't have the knowledge behind it, So I don't know if you're okay with me sharing this as far as like the tarot card reading and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's something that you delve into, right? Something that you do.
Yes.
If you could educate me, like what is the history behind the tarot? How did that come up? And not just personally with you, but if you can give me like where it comes from, how it's read or how it's interpreted, and what is the actual like meaning behind it, if that's okay.
Yeah, so like tarot cards, it actually did start as a regular card game, kind of. And I want to say, was it Gypsies? I think it was Gypsies that first started changing. They started with regular playing cards like spades and things like that.
Hey. No, spades, that's my game. I fuck somebody up on some spades, goddammit.
And then eventually somebody, kind of like made it more into a different suit of cards, more cards with more meanings. I think Rider White was the first one to do it, and this is like one of the Rider White decks where you have different ones. Like you have like a major arcana, which is like your Emperor, your moon card, and things like that. They all have their own meanings. The Magician, the Lover's card, that one, stuff like that. And then
the devil.
let's see, where is it? Like you have your suits, you have like wands and swords. So they can mean a lot of different things. And the pictures, depending on what kind of deck you use, can mean a lot of different things. A lot of them you could use like the meanings are the same of the card, but then you kind of dive into them deeper, depending on your intuition, the question, so it's really just like on how good you could tap into someone's energy, on how you can interpret the cards.
Gotcha.
But they do have a base general meaning, which always comes in a little book, but then you learn the basic meanings, and then you just kind of go from there.
So is this something that anyone can pick up? Sorry about that, Hunt. You got next. Is this something that anybody could, for example, just go into a shop, pick up a deck of cards, of tarot cards, read through it, and just do it on their own?
That's how I started. Absolutely. There used to be this thing that people say, oh, you should be gifted your first card because that means you have the gift. No, fuck that. It's about you. If you feel the need that you want to actually dive into it, why not? Go into a store, feel out what deck feels good for you. I do recommend that. See which one calls out to you, kind of feel out the energy of it. For example, when I first got this traditional writer deck, I would shuffle, and not too much would come out. And long and behold, I had this Santa Muerte deck in my Amazon cart, and I was like, I'm going to order this one, even though this one I'm not getting too much on it. Well, as soon as I got this bad boy in the mail and I cleansed it and I started shuffling cards fucking everywhere, you know what I mean? So it's like, and you start getting better and better the more you do it, the more you interpret the cards, the more you feel them, the more you read the little book. Eventually you want to get out of the book and just kind of see how they feel and what you think and listen and what your guides are trying to tell you. Obviously make sure your protection is up, and only those that are here for your highest good are getting cards out for your messages. Right. But there's no doubt in my mind that now, like I used to doubt myself all the time, and it's still hard for me to read for myself because of course we're harder on ourselves, and I'm just like, I don't want to hear that shit. And I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with it right now. Right. And it's easier to tap into somebody else's energy with their permission, of course, and do a reading for them, because we're just hard on ourselves. But it does get easier when you read cards for yourself, and you start hearing thoughts in your head that aren't really your thoughts, because I thought I put that deck in there, but of course somebody put that thought in there, which was one of my ancestors. Come to find out, it was like one of my fourth great grandmas, and like little things like that. I'm like, you thought it was your idea, but you start deciphering of, was it really your idea, or did one of your guys put that there? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's pretty funny.
Right on. So we got 1 minute left. Can you hold off for 1 minute?
Yeah.
And so basically what's going to happen right now, because I'm on the motherfucking Baller on a budget, we're going to go ahead and pause right now. It'll take about 2 seconds on the podcast end. I'm going to resend the link and then catch y'all back on here. You still good with that, Monica?
Oh, yeah. I'll grab a charger in the meantime, too.
All right, too easy. I'll see y'all here in about 2 and 2. And if you don't get that reference, you way too young, Chief.
Yeah.
See y'all in a bit.
All
right, motherfuckers. It took all 2 minutes and we back. And maybe 2 seconds for y'all. But anyways, we're back over here and with Monica and Hunt. And this is Monica's first time guest hosting, but she might as well be guesting again, because
I'm about to take my place for real. Like this, but like it's very interesting topics, like we were just talking about prior to going back on, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell us about your moon water, Hunt. I want to know what you think about moon water and what you think about water molecules and stuff.
Before we go there, so check this out, y'all. This motherfucker starts telling me that he's gonna make some moon water. I'm thinking that's kind of like black code for fucking like Hennessy with Hypnotic. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like, I don't know, some kind of weird shit that,
what kind of drink is this?
That jungle juice type shit, But it turns out moon water, from what he was talking about right now, is something that sounds like it's pretty fucking well, go ahead and break it down, huh? What is moon water?
All right, so first of all, before you even make moon water, the best thing to do, you need to talk to your water, right? And I know this sounds crazy as hell, but like they've actually had the studies where somebody has talked to water and then they've seen like the molecule, they've seen it change when you're like providing it like good energy and whatnot. So what I did, I projected all this energy into the water, right? On the 16th, it's going to be a full moon. I'm going to charge all that good energy, and then I'm going to drink it, right? it's just and it's kind of like we were talking about, like how things may sound weird because like how we grew up, and it was very indoctrinated into like strict Christian and everything. If you don't turn right, you're going to hell. You know what I mean? But well, when I say I was making moon water, I know to some people it's like, oh man, you're into that voodoo shit, and it's like, well, you got to think about this. Our grandparents made what? They made sun tea. You know what I'm saying? They literally infused this tea with the sun's energy, and we drunk that shit. So what's the difference between me making moon water? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when you drink sun tea, you feel happy as fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
there's no difference.
What sun tea is.
Oh yeah, you're not from the South. So you just like literally take like the tea bags, the water, and put the tea bags in there and let the and let the sun make the tea. And it's fucking great, man. It's great. My grandma used to make it.
So I am from the South. My people are from the South, just not the South in America. Okay? We're from Central America, South. All right. You know, my people might have worshipped the sun and the moon, but but no, I mean
that's an actual scientific study done by Dr. Masaru Emoto, where you get water, look under a microscope, see what it looks like, you talk negative to it and see what it changed like, and then whenever you get a different kind of water, talk positive to it. And again, you're right, and people think it's super weird, but I don't think it's weird. I think it's amazing. And you can literally see the molecules and everything change of that water, the differences when you talk positively. And people say you can quantum leap doing that to your water. If you speak those high vibrations and where you see yourself into the water or a manifestation or something to that effect, and then drink it, you're kind of quantum leaping, because all that energy of where you want to be or whatever manifestation you want to come up with or whatever you want to speak into your water, you're taking into your body and bringing it more into existence. And then of course the moon charges it up too, just like everything else. I mean, if people don't think they're affected by the moon, like it's even been scientifically, if you want to call it, proven, it affects the waves of the ocean. Right. We're made out of what, 80-something% of water. Why don't you think it's not going to mess with you? It is going to mess with you.
Well played. And it just to a Hunt's point, prior to you coming on, we're talking about like how cool it is to have you on as a guest, because it gives a whole different vibe to the podcast now. You know what I mean? It's not just some dumb bullshit that we sophomorically talk about. It's just a different vibe today. You know what I mean? And
it's a higher vibration instead of our mid vibration.
No, but not only that, but we're talking, and it's like, to some people this might sound weird, and it might sound like, what the fuck kind of crazy psycho shit is this? But then again, you got people that believe that some man died, 3 days later is resurrected, and that's a belief. And then you got other people that believe that if they go and fucking explode themselves, they end up with 72 virgins up in their fucking heaven. You know what I mean? So who's to say that these beliefs that you're speaking are not truth? I mean, as long as we're not talking fucking Scientology, we're good. Because those motherfuckers are on one. Ooh, yeah.
So one thing too. Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead, Liz. I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna say those motherfuckers in Scientology are apparently, they believe that like each one of their digits is a being, everything on their body is a being, their ears or eyes or nose, they're all different little beings. I was listening to some of that shit over the weekend with Joe Rogan and Leah Remini.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hunt.
Oh no, I was just gonna circle back around to like where Monica was talking about like the whole the tarot card thing. Like once again, just growing up the way we grew up, man, that was like oh my God, that was just so evil out of all things. And like I recently, about 5 years ago, I actually got my first reading, and super amazed by how accurate this woman was. Like literally, she was telling me stuff that like I tell her. Like it got to the point where I was laughing while she was telling me this, and I was like, "There's no way you should know this. This is my first time meeting you. You should not know this stuff." And like I forgot about some of this stuff, but she was super cool. I actually got a legit cleansing a few months ago, and yeah, it was scary. I'm not gonna lie, it was scary because they're speaking in Spanish, and I really don't understand it. All I know is like I go there, the guy has this bowl, I have to put a picture on the bowl that's kind of lit. That thing, the picture just, and I was like, oh shit, like, and then the dude took me in the back. He's actually doing the cleansing. I'm getting smoke and all that shit. And then he sends me a picture. He's like, so the person in this picture, you know who?
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. It was like this person smiles a lot with their teeth, and I was like, yeah, they really do. Like, there's like, yeah, you see this? You see how this is an outline, and you can just see teeth. It's crazy because in the picture, this person didn't have their teeth showing, but like they were like so accurate with this person and how this person was, and I was like, I need all the protection, brother.
And then some.
Yeah, for real. It's crazy, bitch.
So back to the source. All right. And our higher beings, and when someone dies and they leave the carcass here, you know what I'm saying? Our conscience goes out to play. So with ghosts, what we consider ghosts, would that be your spirit, your conscience, your higher self? Would that be someone that hasn't returned to a body, or is there a time where one cannot re-enter a body and continue to another life?
There's times that people get stuck, like they don't know they died, like when you get into a sudden accident or it's just sudden or something. Or people, I've even heard, and this is again one of Dolores Cannon's books, is called Between Life and Death. And the reason why I go to her a lot is because, or her teachings, or her, I guess her research that she did, a lot of it resonates with me, and I could just tell it resonates. Like, I get goosebumps all the time because I do a lot of audiobooks. That's how I learn more.
Yeah.
Versus just me reading that shit. But and sometimes when you mourn somebody too much, you're not letting them go either. So they feel obligated for the spirit to stay here. So then therefore you get a ghost. You know what I mean? So like and whenever, recently one of my mom's cousins died, she would be like, third cousin, but I would call her Tia, obviously, because we have to be cousins. But, she died, and I genuinely told my mom, I was like, Mom, she's in a better place. Of course, it doesn't make it easier. Of course it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't. It really doesn't. But I'm like, but she is, she was in all pain. She wasn't the healthiest person. So it's like she's definitely in a better place with, with her husband that had already died and things like that, which is 1000% true. Whenever, you do go to a better place because you go to source, unless you get stuck here because you think, you didn't die, or you're not coming to terms that you died because it's so sudden type of thing, that your spirit kind of lingers until you recognize the fact that, oh shit, I am dead, and you finally move on.
Okay. You got any question? You want to say?
I was gonna say like two things, like as far as that go, man. Like definitely, I think that's spot on, because like if you ever go to Gettysburg, they talk about how haunted that motherfucking place is because those spirits are just there. When I was in New Orleans, we went to a couple of haunted places, rode by them, man. We went to the Children's Hospital. The dude was like, yeah, man, this is extremely haunted. I went to like a couple of places. I wanted to go by Marie Laveau's place personally. But I was like, yeah, I wanted to go by. I just want to be like, hey, what's going on here?
I did not know. This was even before my awakening. Like, so we got a picture of her at one of the windows. No shit, no lie. Like, I was taking a picture at the same time as my husband did. His picture came up with her silhouette, no doubt about it. Like, it was crazy. Mine didn't. And then I would not walk on that same sidewalk. Absolutely not. Nope, I'll be across the street.
So you see, here's where, because I love these conversations, I love these topics, because it I contradict myself on a lot of things. To Hunt's point, growing up Christian, grew up pretty much in a Christian church, not Catholic Christian, but Christian, like, Pentecostal, evangelical, Baptist. We went to all kinds of churches. My mom didn't really have a set religion per se, or sect that we went to. It was just had to be Christian, and so I grew up in that. Now, am I the most biblical or theological or best Christian? No, but I do believe that there is a higher power out there that has kept me safe in a lot of times, in a lot of times of affliction, a lot of times that I should have been dead over many times. And you know what fucks me up here, Monica? That sometimes I fucking hate that word. Sometimes it seems. You already know what I was gonna say, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
I have to do some shadow work on that feeling word.
I fucking hate that word. No, but sometimes it seems to me that in those moments that I should have died, in this reality that I'm in, I didn't die. But in that reality where the accident occurred or whatever, I did die, and I just, moved into a different, I guess, timeline or universe, or where I didn't die, and I just continue going forward with that. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's sometimes how it kind of fucking feels like to me. But then again, it goes against all the teachings that I've been taught as a kid. It's just fucking, I contradict myself so much on dumb shit because I believe in aliens. I do believe in fucking, in aliens from outer space, but I think that there are higher power. That's who I think they are. They're our creators, is what I think in my mind. But anyway,
man,
you
about to get started. Yeah. So one thing about like how we grew up as Christians, right? Because like I told you, man, I just really last years I just been pounding, reading my Bible, right? Even though I still believe, and I still, like you said, I'm kind of contradict myself, right? But one of the things that the Bible tells us, even Jesus says so himself. He says, "Your words did say that you were gods." That the Bible literally tells us that we are gods. You know what I'm saying? It's in the Bible, and it's like growing up, we were taught that like we were really nothing and this, that, and the third. But it's like, how can we be taught that we're nothing? But the Bible that we're supposed to follow tells us that we're gods. Like everything, and this kind of going off tangent, but I really believe in manifestation because everything is about thought. Everything had to start from a thought. Everything that we have now is a thought. It may not happen now, but guess what? It's going to fucking happen. The more I think about it, the more I do, like Monica would say, raise my vibrations, it's going to happen. As far as like those, those aliens and them beings, hell yeah, man. Have you seen some of those what I'm calling it, like in Egypt or whatever, and all these other places, how they had these big, huge doors, like to get into the, yeah. But you know what I'm talking about, right? They have like these big, huge doors to walk in, but it's like, oh, like I'm this tall, but the doors are like this. Who the fuck is walking in them fucking doors? You know what I'm saying? The Bible even talks about like the Nephilim, how they were giants. So like all this stuff is real. I think that everything is just a lot of fear based instead of like letting us know the real stuff that was out there. And on top of that, last thing, King James was gay. I don't know if people realize that. I just found that shit out. King James himself, King James, the one that commissioned like the Bible. This motherfucker was gay as shit himself, but yet and still in the Bible it talks about like when Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because apparently it was like with man on man love.
Bro, but that's if we go into the Old Testament. See, a lot of people contradict themselves on the Bible itself because they want to preach out of the Bible, but they only pick what they want out of it so that it fits their agenda. Because you have the Old Testament and the New Testament, right? You're supposed to be basing your religious experience off of the New Testament. The Old Testament is just there,
it was the Mosaic laws.
You know what
it was the Mosaic laws, and even then, it got misconstrued because it wasn't talking about man on man butt love. It was talking about man and boy. That's what it was talking about. That's why Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed. Is because that's why.
Yeah, this is going south really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so anyways, besides, I thought King James version was based off the play but anyways, King James doesn't really fucking matter because the book was canonized by man. They decided what books they wanted to put in there. What happened with the book of Enoch? For real. But anyways, to fit their agenda. Again, I go contradicting myself, right? So, Monica,
goddamn,
what do you say?
Oh, I mean, the Bible is just like you guys said. It's been misinterpreted. It's been reinterpreted and just to control the masses. That's all. It's fear-based to control the masses. That's all it is. And that's because fear is one of the lowest vibes or lowest frequencies. Therefore, you can't be manipulated. Therefore, you can be controlled.
I was talking with my homeboy Kowalczyk. I didn't mean to cut you off. Me and Kowalczyk were discussing dimensions, like different dimensions. And you were discussing this with me last week when we were talking about different dimensions. Now, I don't know if he means like there's different dimensions that where that we cannot see because we're not privy to it, or it's there but we can't see it. Does that make sense to you in any way?
Yeah. So Earth is literally one of the few planets that's 3D, where we can experience the shit that we experience. That's why we come to Earth. That's why we incarnated Earth, because we can experience karmic shit, fear, love, yada yada yada. Not that there's not love, but the lower frequency things. And there's 1D, 2D, or densities, whatever you want to call them. You can call them dimensions or densities, but most of the universe out of the Van Allen belt, out of our atmosphere, is 5D. That's what most of the universe is. It's 5D. 5D is pure love and great energy and things like that, where sometimes it's like a knowing, it's a consciousness. And there's a 1D, a 2D, a 3D, 4D, 5D. I think it goes all the way up to like 12 now, or 11, something to that effect. But there are obviously at some point, the higher you go, you don't even need a meat suit, and you're just consciousness, you're just a light body, depending on how high up you go. But this is the only planet that is surrounded by 3D, and that's why you can only really go into that 5D consciously until maybe hopefully we get enough people awaken. And that's literally one of my main missions, is to hopefully awaken and spark your guys' the mass awakenings have been happening since forever now, since like 2020 mostly, but definitely before that as well. But so we can shift the frequency of the entire Earth, because it's just evolution. It has to. Earth can't stay like this forever. It just can't. And hopefully go into that 5D, but we'll see.
I'm a champion of DMT. Like, I really wish I could get some DMT, like Joe Rogan would say, because if I could do that and see and have the things that I need answered, I'd be happy as hell.
You should try a QHHT session.
What is that? Speaking French.
It's the quantum healing hypnosis theory or treatment or therapy, whichever one you want to call it. There's certain practitioners that do. Dolores Cannon's, she developed this technique where you go into the deepest hypnosis, where your subconscious, which is your higher self, or your higher self, basically come up, and you can ask it questions. Well, not you, but you write them down, and your practitioner asks your higher self the questions, and it's all recorded. And obviously she writes them down and everything, and then you get the recording. But that's something that you have to get your body used to. Like, I did past life regressions on my own for a while before I finally decided to go ahead and do a QHCT session. And even while I was in it, I thought I was just saying stupid shit, and I didn't believe myself. But that's because I was my conscious programmed self. Like, there's no way. But then after finally letting go, the images started coming clearer, and you're there, but you're not there, which is really weird.
So, that being said, something I think about is I have a brother in El Salvador who is very advanced in certain studies, we'll say. And he was telling me, like, one of the ways that you can he was trying to explain it to me, like, in layman's terms, I guess you could say, about how to separate yourself from your spirit, so it could like out of it, you know what I'm saying? But he said that you got to make sure you hold on to something. I can't remember what it was, because he said if you don't, then you're lost, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, so I started practicing what he had told me. He had to do with a lot of breathing, clearing your mind. But I kept getting to a point where I was fucking getting scared, because it was like, this is not feeling right. You know what I mean? It felt really like a sinking feeling, and didn't like it. And I'm just getting the chills thinking about this shit right now, though. Have you heard anything like that? Like, I mean, where people can leave their bodies per se and be their bodies physically here, but
astral projecting, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's probably people call it different things. Astral projecting is one of the major, like, at least one of the big ones that is recognized by. When you're dreaming, your conscious is not here, you're gone, you're not here. Sometimes when you dream, it's shit that that it's your own mind, but a lot of times it's not your own mind. You're going other places, because your soul doesn't need the rest. It's your body that needs the rest.
She brought up dreams. Damn.
You know what? I just looked up what I remember. Just part of my dream last night, where kind of like fucking it, where it was one lost balloon or whatever. I remember like one floating red balloon in my dream, and I was like, man, let me look this shit up. Matter of fact, man.
Mm.
And a lot
So
of your guides and stuff communicate with you while you're dreaming. Although you do little upgrades while you're dreaming or when you're asleep. Like I said, you'll be able to decipher when there's something like that's from your mind that you've had on your mind for a while, or when it's actually you going somewhere. You'll start recognizing it more. Because sometimes they'll put that filter there so you don't get scared because they don't want you to be in that fear base. Then maybe that's why you can only go up to that point because you do get scared. Just know that you're protected and move beyond it, because fear is literally like I said, one of the lowest vibrating things, and you can't really move on from anything or go beyond until you face that fear or you learn why you're afraid. Like even for me, I was afraid of the dark when I was a kid. Like I would be woken up because my bed would be shaking, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know why to this day, but it was just something. And I would be remembering things, and like when I was 6 months old, I remember going to Mexico on a plane wearing this orange dress, and I told my mom that, and she goes, how do you know that? You're only like 6 months old. So like I know those were, I don't know what it was a spirit or what, but my body would like my bed would shake and it would freak me out, and I was afraid of the dark. Now not so much. Have I seen shadow people? Absolutely. Do they freak me out? Not anymore. And so you can't move on a certain point until you let go of those fears.
okay. So going back to the youth, when I was about, I think it was like my third birthday or fourth birthday. Um, I remember this clearly, where I was walking around. So stupid. I was walking. It was one of my birthdays, and I opened up one of my gifts, and the gift was like a cowboy, an Indian, suit, right? So I had my little hat with my little 2 6 shooters, and I can remember this clear as day, where I'm walking around like and all my uncles and cousins are like, a kid being a kid. I was fucking 4 years old, whatever. But then I remember I was walking away. It was the same house, by the way. That house had to be fucking haunted. Anyways, I remember I had fallen down, and I started looking into the carpet, right? This is where it gets weird. I look into the carpet, and I'm seeing it right now as if it was that time. And as I'm spreading, like it was like the carpet, old carpet where you could just like, I don't know how, it has the bristles and shit, and you could just, I was
Yeah, I know
splitting
exactly.
it, and I was splitting and splitting it, and I can see myself going into it, bro. It like something out of fucking Alice in Wonderland almost. And dude, all I saw was fiery fucking red. Again, was this a dream? I don't believe so, because I remember it clear as fucking day, you know. And again, is there a heaven? Is there a hell? I don't know. That's why I'm open to all kinds of shit from other people, because I wanna understand the world more. I want to be positive. I want to have a smile like Monica has, where she's always fucking smiling because it's positive fucking vibes. You know what I mean? And of course, not everything can always be positive.
No, I have
Obviously.
my bad days. Don't you? I have bad days. I get angry still. They just get easier sometimes.
But I mean, I like to understand people's thought process. Like, yes, it goes back to the to dreaming. Like, they say we only use X amount of our brain, and I wonder what would happen if we used our whole brain. Would we be able to see that fifth dimension? Would we elevate? You know, um, it's just a trip, man. Like, what is our next evolution? Is it going to be fucking what I like to say, some of the extraterrestrials, the aliens? Because if you look at our evolution, we started as big ass hairy motherfucking cavemen. We keep growing smaller and smaller, less hairy, and those little fucking green men all of a sudden are hairless, big eyes, big head, 4 foot tall. Is that our evolution? I mean, I don't know.
Oh man.
What? Why are you laughing at me, fool?
No, because I was gonna say something stupid. No, not that. But no, I just want to get Monica's take on something real quick. As far as like mirrors, like one thing that I just started doing actually since I actually got my last cleansing, like even my TV at night, I have this like white bed sheet that I put on my TV, cover that at nighttime. Like, don't have any mirrors in my room. Only mirrors in my bathroom, and I always make sure I turn my light on before I go in there after I've been asleep. But do you, I guess what I'm saying is like you've heard about like how that's like a gateway, if you will,
Yeah.
right?
I've heard that mirrors could be portals. Absolutely. You know, it's so funny because I don't have a whole lot of mirrors in my house either. I only have them like in my bathrooms. I don't have one in my bedroom. I don't have one down here. No, I don't have one down here. So not that I mean, you're absolutely correct. Portal. I mean, you can make a portal out of almost anything, and definitely a mirror could be a portal. You could always just, if you don't want to do the white sheet, just put a little protection sigil on there or something to that effect, you know?
The only thing that I really have is just my high-speed bracelets that I got since I've gotten cleansed. And this is, like I said, 2-3 months ago, and I still have it.
Monica, when did you see that this was a way of life that you wanted to follow? Like, is this something that happened recently, or was there an event that guided you toward this, or has this been something that you've always had within you?
So before any real awakening, I always knew everything was going to be okay. I've always been a pretty positive person. I always knew I always had this knowing of, oh, it's going to be okay. It's always going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Something always happens it just happened for a reason, or it's supposed to happen when it's supposed to happen type thing. And then of course, 2020 came around. And this is before COVID, like early 2020, just shit starting to seem a little different. I started getting a little dissociated a little bit. I'm just like, there's something not right now. And then COVID hits. And that's when, I don't know, I don't get anxiety, I don't get depression, but I couldn't sleep. And I think it was anxiety for whatever reason. Because I didn't lose my job, thankfully. You know, my office was gracious enough to stay open, but it was still, a lot going on. And obviously the collective vibration then was completely screwed up. And I think that's kind of what triggered. And I kind of started going into meditation first to help me sleep, because I already have insomnia from the Navy and I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't. And I started going into little things here and there about, certain conspiracy theories. And I did my own research, went down rabbit holes and in deep state and things like that. And it just kind of progressed from there, because I couldn't sleep for a while when I started knowing about the human trafficking and shit like that.
Right. I remember we talked about that. Yeah.
But then, there had to have been light. There had to be light somewhere. And I just started noticing all these synchronicities, like angel numbers, and started looking into them. And then one of my sisters, she kind of started talking to me a little bit about Archangel Michael and looking into these numbers more. And I was like, okay, cool. And then she told me about this one girl that does tarot readings, and she did my very first tarot reading ever. And just from there, it opened the floodgates, because everything just resonated, because she was just that good. And I was just like, wow. And I just, I encourage anybody, do your own research on any of this stuff, but if it resonates, and there's a reason for it.
Let me ask you, we're gonna switch gears a little bit here, if that's cool.
Before we switch gears, real quick.
Yeah.
No. 2020, that's when we switched from the age of Aquarius to Pisces, wasn't it? Or was that 2018?
No, it's 2020.
2020, yeah. So that's another reason why shit was all fucked up, because we switched fucking ages.
From Pisces
from
to
Aquarius. Yeah. I know we switched ages, and that's another reason why everybody's shit was all fucked up and shit's all crazy. But this is the Christ conscious,
yes,
phase.
Been doing some research.
Ooh, me?
Yeah, you've been holding out on my ass.
Oh, yeah, man, listen.
I'm over here talking like a dumbass to myself. I'm fucking on the midweek memos trying to, and he's over here with having all this goddamn hidden knowledge on my ass. You know what? Something happened in 2012. That's all I believe. Something happened in 2012 where everything done fucked up.
Bro, we're still behind. We're living in the wrong fucking time.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like,
the calendar was all fuckered up.
Yeah, and that's because the calendar is actually 13 months. Like, the Ethiopians have the right fucking calendar.
I'm tracking. April's the first fucking first day of the anyways. So moving on. We'll circle back to this.
I know what you're talking about. We're in 2014 or something to that effect, because 13 months in 1 year.
Look, man, according to the Jews, it's the year 6000 right now. So
of course, the cohosts.
according to the Kowalski's. That's right. We called you out, motherfucker. Kowalski was my first original co-host. And then yeah. Anyways, shout out, motherfucker. Anyways, so mentioned you mentioned the deep state. You mentioned some like fear, and how there's people in power that want to keep us in fear. Could you elaborate a little more on that if you could, please?
That's how they can manipulate you. If you're in fear, they can manipulate you. They can keep you, control you. Basically, I mean, all the media. If you look into it, there's like major players that own most of the media. Like, look at Disney and who owns Disney and how many, news stations do they own, and they control what goes on to your televisions. You're being, and what you get told, what information you get fed, and that's where people go for their news, their information, and so they're going to believe what they see on the news. But that doesn't mean it's 100% accurate. It doesn't mean they're telling you the 100% truth. They're just telling you what they want to tell you because they control the narrative. Therefore, they can keep you in fear and control you.
Now, is this something that again, I love conspiracy theories. I fucking do. What's that place that has the owl hunt?
Bohemian Grove.
Yeah, where they plan what the fucking future's supposed
with
to be.
Moloch, with Moloch. So yeah, and
go ahead.
Once again, I was gonna say once again, Moloch is actually mentioned in the Bible, but it's crazy because like there's something about all this stuff that they know. That's why they're doing it. Like it just blows my mind.
They think that we're fucking crazy for believing it, even though they're doing it behind closed doors to keep, themselves in power or whatnot. Like they all know about this stuff, and they make us think that we're fucking crazy. And if you don't follow this religion, then that means you're going to hell. Therefore, they say, "Oh no, that's witchcraft," or blah blah blah. You're going to hell. But yet you're doing it behind closed doors. You're fucking sacrificing people behind closed doors to get this power or adrenochrome or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, it's just, it's insane.
So, I mean, this is, do you think that this is knowledge that's been like known for fucking ever and a day, and it's just handed down to certain specific people in the world?
Yes.
Man, they know what's going on. And what's so crazy is that it's to the point now that everybody's so cocky, they're literally throwing it in our face. Look at us. Us was kind of like what I was talking about by covering my mirror because of like my TV because it's a portal. Like they're literally throwing this shit in our faces now. Just like, okay, here, what are you gonna do about it? They got to the point to where they're so cocky, they don't give a flying fuck.
What do you mean us?
The Simpsons. Us like everybody else, like because like you said, man, we're so indoctrinated that everything has to be this way. Otherwise, you're crazy if you think outside the box. Right. Look at the Simpsons. All that shit is not a coincidence. It is not. Though
did you hear that the creator of the Simpsons is possibly somebody from the future, and that's why. But see, so time travel, is that something that you think is really possible?
I think it is, but I also think they have rules.
What were you gonna say, Monica?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. You could travel. If you could travel consciously to another planet, what makes you think you can't travel to other timelines? Past, future, present, multiple timelines. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Go ahead, Hunt.
I was gonna say, I think it's just certain rules that, like, you like obviously, you can't go back and kill baby Hitler. You know what I'm saying? I think that is more along the lines, even though the dude did come, I think there's more observing, that you're here to do a lot of observing to what's going on at this present time. It's kind of like a big ass history report that you're going to go back and like, hey, so this is what happened in goddamn Earth 136 and C137 Rick.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy, y'all. Yo, we got 3 minutes left, man. And, this podcast episode has fucking flown by to me today. And honestly, this one was mostly focused on Monica. I knew we were gonna ask a bunch of fucking questions, and I thank you so much for being able to answer them.
Try my best. I'm sure there's gonna be contradictions, and of course that's okay. Do your research. I encourage anybody to do their own research and see what they come up with. Pick up your own deck of cards and see what you get. Meditate and allow your guides to come in and see what you see and what you feel. Absolutely, do it on your own.
But I would like to invite you again next week for the next midweek memo. I promise we'll have fucking topics to talk about. We won't just be fucking picking your brain. Unless motherfuckers want to, write us on the gunline@gmail.com. Hit us up in the comments, the DMs. Hit me up, man. I'll pass the word along over to Hunt, over to Monica, and if maybe Urena could get his ass over here. Nah, Urena's our other co-host who he's still in the process of making some moves. So, and he's got college stuff going on. So he let me know he's gonna be on hiatus for a few weeks. But honestly, it's just something different. I think this is the first time that we stayed completely off military for the fucking. But then again, for those that don't know, this is the type of shit we would talk about on the gun line. And I'm sure, Monica, while you were on your fucking watches or whatnot, this is the type of shit you would talk about. You know what I mean?
But yeah.
There's one thing I do want to say. There was this motherfucker named Casey Brown, this piece of shit fucking soldier I had. And what sucks is that a lot of the shit that you're saying, he would say. So he kind of smeared that for you. You know what I mean? He was a piece of shit. This motherfucker talking about that he was a fucking warrior, in all his lives. And so we asked him, so what happened in this one? You know what I mean? Because
oh my God, dude.
It was garbage. Bro, he was like Freeman. All right.
Oh,
he was
my
basically
God.
another fucking Freeman. Oh, I don't know if I told you, Monica, there's always a running joke about Freeman here. We're always going to talk about Freeman and Wilson. But anyways, I got 1 minute left. Monica, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was great.
Fun. Thank you.
And well, everybody, I hope to catch y'all here on the gun line next week. I don't have anything going on this Friday. So with that being said, make sure y'all visit Red Deck Custom Woodworks. Get yourself a motherfucking artillery round. Make sure y'all go visit Monica's Etsy. It's called Sun Luna Co. And we love our bracelets.
The barbecue spot.
Oh, shit. I don't know how much time I got left. But with that being said,
10 seconds.
Jimmy Nicks. Rounds complete. End of mission. Gun line out. Bomb.